Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
This is, what day is it again?
New Year's Eve.
New Year's Eve.
Day.
I have a very good memory. I'm getting old. Well, I do the best I can. What kind of problem do you have that's not fixed? Paddy, I would like to be able to talk to you, if you don't mind, to start the program. Because you have so many problems all tangled up with each other. And tell me what you can't overcome at this point. What small thing is in your way of moving forward?
Right now, this.
It's not working?
Yeah, it's working.
Okay. Well, what do you mean by this?
Well, I wasn't ready to say anything to anybody anyway. You know, I've told you, but I don't think I want to broadcast it. You
I
know.
can't hear you. I cannot hear you hardly at all.
Having a problem that I can't overcome is feeling absolutely helpless over what's going on with me right now.
Helplessness is good.
Yeah.
But the helplessness is not the same as knowing that of myself I can do nothing.
Okay.
But there's a big difference.
I'll say it what it is. I have lung cancer,
Oh, yes.
and
That's easy fix.
yeah, well, they're giving me like 6 to 9 months, and you want me to eat it?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So, and that's where I feel like, what now? You know?
How long have you had the cancer?
Oh, they just found it.
Just found it. You could have been growing there for a long time.
It could have been there for a very long time.
So there's a kind of cancer that is so easy to fix that you get better next day. I don't think that is what you have. I don't think it's going to be that easy because you have been so broken so long and able to hide yourself and build on your ability to function in a very awkward and pushy way, you know, doing more, and then more is not enough, kind of thing. So you have a lot of stress, but the person who has cancer, the single disease, is simply this, and maybe it applies to you. A person who has cancer is addicted to giving themselves as an appeaser to bullies. Correct?
That's true. I think I got worse when I started taking care of John.
So,
I think that I got worse when I started taking care of John 24/7.
and there it is. Then it's recent. That's what you're saying is likely that if it's recent, all by itself,
Yeah.
and not a puddle, an entanglement with all the other problems you might have. See that?
Right,
I
right.
think you're in charge of that much better.
Right.
So it is possible that because your husband is controlling you, whether he realizes it or not,
I
whether
think he
it's a
knows
heavy
that.
burden or not, purposely. There's a bully that makes you an appeaser.
Yeah.
But then there's a person who's weak that causes you to want to help them more than it's good for them,
Yeah.
without knowing what good is. Only God is good.
Yeah.
And the tendency for people to help each other or help another person without understanding their own problem, because people have problems themselves and think, well, maybe I solved my problem by solving his problem. It's called love. It only makes it worse.
Yeah.
And the other person senses it, but he doesn't know how to stop because he needs some help anyway, but it isn't help. So
now,
we're having a good start here.
Yes.
so now, and I knew I could feel my, he would whine and cry in the middle of the night, and I'm
And
up,
call
up,
to you.
down.
Yes, you're compulsive.
Yeah.
You're a compulsive appeaser.
So yes. So I could feel my life being sucked right out of me.
That is cancer.
Yeah.
The bully sucks
Yeah.
on you.
Yeah.
And you give of your, what is the, what,
Essence. Essence.
Yeah.
yeah, the essence, there's another word for the essence.
Life force?
It's an energy that keeps you safe from germs. What is that name of that?
Immunity or
Immune system. The immune system, whatever that is, I'm not sure they ever know where that is.
Yeah.
Immune system, I don't know if there's a place in the body where the immune system is. I never heard it. But the immune system, let me give you a little story, and maybe it's helpful. If you go to Facebook, I've got 3 lines. I hope I can remember them. But an impatient mother trying to help her child, push, impatient person, upsets the child who gives in for peace. There is no peace, not in the child. But he doesn't understand what's going on with him. But that's what's going on with him. And the more he gives in to his mother, the more of that, what was that word I used just now, that the immune system, whatever, the immune system has a name for it, but I forgot the name. I have it if you go to the website, not the website. Facebook. It's there. And so it's the mother that's precious, lovingly precious, which isn't love, but that's what she thinks it is. She'll get him to do the things she wants him to do. Clean his shoes, clean his head, clean his whatever it is. He wants to do this and do this for mother, but it's always impatient. And that's resentment for the pet child, and he feels guilty, and he appeases his mother. And slowly but surely, that essence, which I have forgotten the name, sucks up all the energy of life. And the child will die from cancer. And mother will bring it to the hospital as if she was loving. And
Right. Now, may I add something to this? I had John put back into the nursing home. And after going to the hospital, the only way I could get him in there if they went, but end of that. But he's in the nursing home now. And I noticed when I went in to see him, he's no longer whining or crying like he did when he was at the house.
stay away from him.
Yeah,
He is a man. You're a woman.
yeah.
You need a man, but he isn't one.
But
So, so he suffers. He suffers from giving himself to you or being cruel to you. At this point, he can't be cruel, but the cruelty has made him very ill. But the cruelty is there, and you do not dare to try to help him.
oh, I'm
Not
down.
in your state, because he will suck the life out of you.
No, he already has. So now I'm left with,
Yes, but but then you start to resent him. You didn't resent him?
no. No, not right now. I did it one time, but not now. But I realize, sitting here knowing this, it's my opportunity for good to happen
Yes.
with me.
When you understand what I said, and you take it and practice it, meaning he's sick, you can't cure him no matter what you do. And the more you do for him, the more sick he gets. You're emboldening his sickness, emboldening his dependent on your love, which is not love.
No, it's not.
It sucks. It sucks. And it sucks, and it takes the immune system, all of it. A little child with the same mother, the more he gives into himself, the more he tends to pass out or get cancer.
Right.
So the problems of a child having being broken, and I can't find the word for the other one. He falls asleep. What's the word of? He doesn't fall asleep, but he collapses into a sleep, and he has to go to hospital. That is, and then he has to take certain medicines to amplify what he has left in the immune system. See? Now, if I had a good memory, like I had you before, I'd have the right words. But you got the point.
Yeah.
Yeah. See? Now, you need to be true to yourself now, not true to anybody else yet. I'm true to you. I'm not going to catch your sickness. See?
Yeah.
I can deal with you without getting sick.
Yeah.
And because I can't get sick, you can get better. You get better, because I won't be like that mother. See, that same thing. So I can share with you, but not control you and make you dependent on me. I don't want you to do that. Just listen, see where I'm coming from, and realize that of yourself you're good to nothing. Right? How did you say that about yourself a little while ago, the way you said it differently when I just said it?
I don't remember.
Helpless. You were angry that you couldn't do anything about it.
You're frustrated, so you tend to want to do it more. And as you do that more, as if to make up for the failure of the previous one, it multiplies. And so the more you give of yourself, the more guilt you feel. But it's gone now. In other words, you don't care.
No.
I don't know if that's a good word.
No, I think it's a very good word.
Huh?
I think it's a very good word.
It's a good morning for you.
It is.
If you understand that the worst thing you can do is try to help him when you're sick yourself, when you're becoming more sick from him being sick. But it isn't kindness. It's compulsion. It's slavery.
It was.
To the man. So he becomes a parasite. You feed yourself to the parasite in him. And everybody listening to this program, everywhere on earth, understands the day you recognize that and stop trying to give to save your whoever it is.
Yeah.
The minute you stop doing that and see what that is, because you're not God.
No.
What you think or you're doing is love. What it looks like, what you call it, is love. It isn't love. It's lust. It's compulsion. It's every bad word you can find.
Yeah.
You are dying to him, and he is dying to you, because when you fall away, he'll have to find somebody else. You're damned if he gets them, and damned if he doesn't, right?
You know, I didn't want to say it. I didn't want anybody to know it. I just want to go off by myself. But I'm happy that I did. Maybe this will help somebody else, you know.
But do not feel guilty.
No,
You have any guilt? Because you're not doing it?
no.
Damn him. Excuse the expression. He's a man that has all kinds of suffering, all kinds of wicked things he's done in his life.
Yeah.
Leave him alone.
Can I have the microphone?
But be patient. In other words, you see, you tend to think that if you don't have love for a person, that you're not a good person. What you have is not love. Do you understand? Yes. What you have is not love. Only God has love. There is no love in the world. There's not love. You could look into the world and look for love and never find it. How many people have looking for love in the world and not finding it, and then getting upset? And then the more they get upset, the more they want to find another person that loves them. Or so they love them to love them back. My love is free. You're free for me. Foundation of human understanding is not like the ordinary religions. I don't own you. I love helping you. Be free from me and never see me again as long as you live according to the love that's within you, is in me, for you.
Amen. I need to say something here. I have tears here, but they are tears of joy. Everything you said to her is exactly what I've gone through with my mother, who now has cancer. Except
Let her
I
die.
have let her go. And what's happening is every week I come, you say some other thing, and it frees me. It frees something in me.
She's got a side of her that intelligently
I know.
to make you
Doubt
judge
myself.
yourself.
To make me doubt that what I
Yes,
see
right.
is really there, but thank God I have him there.
But a person like that is clever.
I can't, yes, but I am
But
so free and I'm so
here's the-
happy that you talked.
The beauty is that
It's helped.
Diane's innocence, my wife's innocence, and the protection I gave her to say, you can just stay home, don't fool
Yeah.
with her. Her innocence now is working to undo that enormous cleverness in this person.
It doesn't work anymore.
But the irony is, I'll give you a perfect example. She's in a situation where she doesn't eat enough. So she was using this not eating enough to try to pull you in.
Yeah.
So this is my mother-in-law, her mother.
And she was saying what you just said.
Yeah. So here's the miracle of it all, is that I made an unexpected visit to a room because, and you will understand this, Roy, my wife made a cheesecake. A cheesecake.
So I said,
And so to her, instead of me? I know. So at last minute she says, well, you know, Chuck, I've got this, why don't I just give my mother a piece of it,
Yeah,
because she
you
can
bring
eat
it to her.
that. So you bring it to her. So I said, okay, I'll bring it. And this is my second visit of the day. I don't go there. I just go there once a day just to see if everything's okay, and then I'm gone.
Yeah.
So I go in unexpectedly, and she's eating food,
which
secretly, which she says she doesn't eat enough of. So she's eating this food, and I look around and I find out that she's eaten 2 desserts that they had sent down from the dining room, but they were, what were they
Like a
called?
cheesecake?
Like some kind of cheesecake, but she said it was terrible, but I just ate it anyway, and I opened both these.
Well, what's the point?
Well, here's the point. I came with a good cheesecake. If she had waited 15 minutes, she would have had a healthy cheesecake instead of one she could hate, which is, it's lost on her. She doesn't see that. But we see the miracle of it all. That in my wife's graciousness, not because she needed her approval,
No.
she offered this to her mother, but her mother's timing is wretched.
It's awful.
And Now she's full of the crap cheesecake when she could have waited 15 minutes for a decent cheesecake that has none of the bad ingredients. That's the miracle of being innocent and letting timing unflow. I see the miracle. She doesn't see the miracle, but I see the miracle of it all.
I'm not seeing.
The miracle is that when you're innocent and not conniving and not looking for approval from somebody, God has a timing, and his timing allows your innocence to undo the plans of evil.
That's right. Her innocence.
Yes.
Her innocence is able to grasp what you said.
Oh,
Meaning,
absolutely.
do not give her anything.
Okay. Got it.
God, it's the end.
Yes.
Because the minute, excuse me, the minute you give that, knowing that's what you said to me.
Well, but
to
it's
say.
still, here's what you said earlier, and you're right. If you appease that person in any way, you make them more of what they are.
Correct.
And that's now
Correct.
what I see.
Yes.
So I'm free from that. Thank you.
Just the cheesecake is not necessary for her life.
I agree.
So there's still a little piece in you trying to.
Yes.
Yes.
That is the problem.
Okay.
Yeah, you got it right.
I see it all the time.
Yeah.
So, and what the funny thing is that sometimes I see it and I say, hey, wait a second, you're getting too, and then other times I let her express it
So I could see.
in some way, not knowing why I'm doing it, and then she sees it deeper. I said something to her last night or this morning, I can't remember, and it's about what people think of as love. Human beings only, their love is a need. That's the only kind of love we have of our own.
But a need.
need.
But who's going to provide the need?
Well, the
God or a
That's
person?
right. So what we do is we find somebody who will provide us the need, and they'll find you to provide them the need. So you, instead of a love, it's a need relationship.
Say it again.
But it's all need, see? You got to realize everybody thinks love is giving. It's not giving, it's taking. And you take from them and they take from you, and at some point somebody wins and you're losing all the time, or you win and they're losing all
But
the
now,
time. But it's
can
human
you,
love.
can you grasp the fact that whatever you do, you've learned
Yes.
it's a process of learning, because you can't grasp it right away until you suffer from it.
And I've suffered.
And you realize that the person is playing you
Yes.
and not grateful. But when you give them something, as we were talking about, she can actually hate you for it. So she either, whether she says, oh, how nice that is,
Well, she does that.
or, oh, thanks. Yeah, that's the only two things she's
Yes.
got. Both of those, any one of those, is what we're talking about.
Yes.
Stay away from my mother. Check her out every now and then.
He does.
Yeah. How do you do, mother? Oh, I'm this, I'm that. All right. But I just want to see that you got something, food, and you're okay. Leave her alone. Go enjoy your life.
Thank you.
Because that's a parasite.
I know.
Your mother is a parasite. And if you leave her alone and don't feed her psychologically, she might get better and she might die. That's none of your freaking business.
I know.
Excusing the expression. How you like that, kid? You're sucking that up. Excuse me, the cold.
Hi, Mr. Masters. I started listening to you. I never wanted to say anything about anything when I would come here. But I started listening to you in 1974 when you were in Los Angeles.
Slow down and listen a little bit, because
I
I'm
started-
old and I'm not hearing clearly.
I started listening to you in 1974 when you were in Los Angeles. Could you hear me? No?
I wish you could come in the front so I can hear
She
you
started
better.
listening to you in 1970.
Yeah, come over here. so I can hear your voice, actually. I appreciate it. And then I don't have to worry about that microphone.
Could you hear me?
Yeah,
No?
you just pull it further down.
Right here?
I can hear your voice.
Well, I started listening to you in 1974 when you were in Los Angeles.
Yes.
And I went there hoping that I could get hypnotized. All my life, since I was small, I was always sick with bronchial infection,
Yeah.
this, that. I was in and out of the general hospital,
Oh, really?
a bundle of nerves
Yeah.
growing up. But I
Yeah.
never told anyone. I cried a lot.
Yes.
And to me, my father hated me.
Yes.
I know he did. And I even think, I might be wrong, and I apologize to God if I am, but to me, I even think that he even molested me. Because I always have the same dream over and over and over.
Yes.
And I used to be so afraid that my mom would leave me there with him. Because he would just, anywhere I was at, he would just,
He's a parasite.
intimidation.
Parasite your energy of your youth. That's what they do.
If I'd
That's
be,
the whole point.
if I'd be walking by, he'd just be, just my sisters. I have 5 sisters and 1 brother. They were always, oh, Dad, hugging him when he came home from work, and I couldn't. I just couldn't.
You had intuition, and they didn't know what was happening to them.
Now, each time I
But the
sometimes,
point is, it affected you because you didn't know how to deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
But you still had an intuition about what you're talking about.
And
I
then-
understand that.
and then the teacher, since I was always sick, she was real cruel to me. Because where were you at? You were sick again, and on and on and on. She was cruel to me. I used to get hit
Yeah, I get
so
it.
much at school with the rulers all the time. And I got to the point where, so she wouldn't say nothing to me, so she could just leave me alone. I'd take her presents.
Take a present to get her love.
So she won't tell me nothing, when...
Well, I got what you're saying. And how is it now? Because you're talking about 1970, is it 19?
Well, I started hearing you in 1974. This is when I was like
It's a long time ago.
6 years old when all this started.
Oh,
since I
wow.
was born.
Now I see it.
And growing up like that.
And you remember me 6 years old?
No. I started listening to you at 74, but all my trouble started since I was little.
Yes, of course.
With a lot of
That is-
emotional.
But that's basically what it is nearly always.
And I would miss school, so I would take the teacher
Well,
presents. so
why
she
are you
wouldn't-
saying this to me? Are you better now?
No. In the beginning, when I started listening to you, I was. But then I don't know.
What are your symptoms now? What is the name of the symptom? And then we can get to going on something.
I think I still have a lot of frustration
Frustration, all right.
and a lot of hate.
So what is, now that you're not there and nobody's around you that you're talking about, what is frustrating you? Where is the frustration? What is the source of the frustration? I can tell you, it's in your head. It's your unforgiveness.
Mm-hmm.
Correct?
It's true, yes.
So the person is still there.
It's still there.
My wife does the same thing. She still resents her father. But since I'm a man, just the shape of a man and the essence of a man, she still resents her father. Oh, that's nice of you very much. Oh, well. Shut up. Okay. Where were we?
Oh, you were talking about how your wife resents the shape of a man as well as...
Oh, yes. My wife still, how can I say this? If a rabbit, some children who are strong, they enjoy the rabbit. Oh, isn't it nice? And they're not afraid of it. A child that's broken, terrified of a rabbit. terrified of everything it doesn't understand. Shock. And so he can grow up his whole life terrified of rabbits. But no, not only that, other things as well. There's no life. And so the rabbit's still there
Yes.
and becomes an extension of other things. If it isn't one thing, it's another. See? So it doesn't have to be a rabbit, but only a rabbit in the head. So in order for you to get a sense of worth, which is worthless, is to keep on judging your parent. And my wife's way of doing it is resenting me. Because I'm a man, I'm the rabbit. And I have the same way of affecting her, even though I'm not doing it. Just the shape of a man, and being a man, and being a stronger man, but still it's a man. It could be a gentle man, it could be a meaning man, a willful man. I'm not willful, but I'm still a man. And that is a hypnotic program. It's really hypnotic. The resentment you have to a person imprints you with that nature. And so it enters into your mind, into your soul. And it's like a demon in there. It's like a demon, or it is a demon. It can become one like that, something dark. Or it could just, in the early stages, just to be the little kid that's frightened, because the reason why he's frightened, because his parents have destroyed his independence. It's intuition, where one kid has the intuition and is understanding. You're not afraid of anything, has to be warned of some things. But we reach out for the rabbit where the other kid will run away. But the minute it minute it reacts, it has the identity of a rabbit inside it. See? Now, Wendy here, I'll give you a very good, if I may speak about this, Wendy? Thank you. I have been working with her for many years. I think about 40 years, is it? How many years? You've been listening to me? A long time.
Listening to you? Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
And yes, and practicing and doing the best you can with what you got. Oh dear, how do I want to forget this? Yes. And so she's growing to be a very noble lady. She's overcoming all her problems, like you. But you too. You've been listening to me many years. You listened to me 50 years ago, and you saw it when you were 18, correct? And you held it. I was not as good as, if I may say, as I understand now. Very true. We grow together. The more I help you, the more I feel better about myself and understand that the next thing that's going to be I learn. But there's something here that's very mysterious. And Wendy's experience is very interesting. And so she is getting better and better because we see her every day for lots of reasons, and she's very helpful and gracious. And I was able to pick out little things that she never saw. Is that correct?
Correct.
And she's getting better and better. And because she's here every day helping, helping me in different ways, and my wife in different ways. It was very gracious. But in the process of doing it, she was getting better and better. I was pointing out the faults that she wouldn't otherwise see. Now, everything is going well. And one day, she walks out of the house, having done her duty in very good time. And then I said, take care. You know, everybody says that. Take care, nice seeing you. And the minute I said, take care, she says, what? What that was a program. She didn't know that when her mother, she forgot it. It's a hypnotic state. When you have a hypnotic state, when you react to a person, there's a certain point where an origin of slavery is there. But it doesn't have to have a person. And I'll give you the reason, I'll give you it so you can see it, because it's everywhere like this. So when her mother was cruel, and stop me if I'm wrong, when her mother was really cruel, wicked, destructive. And when she's destroyed, when she finally falls down and cries and gets broken, then suddenly she changes and says, take care, which is such a lie. And then she said, from that point on, she says, I don't take care. I am going to take care. I'm going to live my own life. But the point is, she's living a life where I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to do this, I want to do that. Can you say, is that
That's pretty good.
Good enough? Yes. You know, she does the opposite. No, she's not going to take care of herself at all. And she could almost die from that. And everybody who talked to her says, take care. Lots of people say take care, don't they? Yeah. And it's just, that set her off. I'm not going to take care of myself. I'm going to do what I want. Crazy. Correct. All right. But one day, she opens the door, having done her duty, which I appreciate. I said, take care. What? She never heard that before. It's a program. It's invisible. But it's every time somebody says take care, she doesn't realize that those words are setting her in motion destructively. But my voice was different. It had a different tone to it. And because it had a different tone, she recognized it. And we had a nice talk. And her problem went away. It doesn't have to be a person. It could be anything. It could be passing gas. It could be anything that will control you. I hate to put it that way, but it makes a point.
Well, when I used to cry, growing up, I was always crying. My father got this idea that when I would cry, he would put me on the bed and put a pillow over my face until I stopped crying.
Oh.
Or else put me in the closet. So for the longest time when we used to go to the theater.
Stop there. I got you. Now, did you hear what I said just now? That take care is only a word in the air. But connected to somebody who, Wendy, had this problem. 1 minute, she's being destroyed and degraded, and she can't stop. And then mother stops and then says, take care. And that moment, she's being controlled of her mother that no longer exists. And she cannot see it. When I met my wife, and we sat in the car after having lunch or something, It was the evening. She says, I have a headache. I said, let me just take care of that for you. I touched her head. And she opened her eyes a few minutes later. And I gave her the names of all her parents and the brothers. He says, how did you know that? I said, because you told me. But she didn't know that. She was not aware. Something was missing. It was a person, I was representing a person that did this to her. I shouldn't have done it. I have to admit. But in those days, I was a hypnotist. I could do what I want. But I didn't do any harm. But just doing that is harm. All I did was opt in. Listen carefully how I say this. Opt in to the person who did that to her. I took the place of that demon or the person. Do you see what I'm getting at? And so, to this very day, she still has the nature of that person in her and doesn't see it. I opted in for a moment, but I can't opt in now because that's not the way to get to. All that does is make you them or more of them and more suggestible to them. I have to do it, try to get her to see this, but it's very difficult to some people to see that what her father did to her. But the father is represented in any man, including me, serves me right in a certain way. You see, it's taking a long time for her to see that she still resents her father. But I represent that father. My existence there represents it, and she secretly resents it and then she gets past it, and then she's sweet and kind, and then all of a sudden, father appears in her mind because the way she or anybody else, for that matter, deals with being out of control is to, you see, so you're no longer there with your father, but you have him in your head. And the only way, and therefore that you get disturbance, it is always there. And the only way you can fight it is to fight me, to look at me as a man and then resent it. But the thing is, I'm not going to be resenting back. I don't know how to deal with it. But there still is, it's a game which I have learned not to react to. And slowly but surely, she will come back. I have sworn that I will be patient with her, strong but not wrong, until she sees it for herself. I can't make her see it. I can be the kind of person that allows her to see it. Am I right, Anne? Am I making sense to you?
Close.
It's close, isn't it? Yeah.
You don't like to think about that after all the years, as old as I am.
Yes, but still.
But it comes up sometimes.
Yes, but there's always a time where you can see it, like Wendy. She began to see what it was. And I am the reminder of your father, because I'm just a man. It's the shape. And take care of another voice. When another voice says it, all her life, take care, drove her crazy, if I may say so that way. But my voice, for some reason, is coming from a different place. So take care suddenly appeared. Oh, that's my problem. And my mother's dead, but she's alive in the... Take care. Got it? That's how dangerous, how clever.
Right. It seems to me that this woman needs to look at the resentment, and that when she sees the cruelty that her father put upon her, she needs to, when it comes up again in her mind, she needs to pull back a little bit and look at that, and then...
But that's not easy. And the reason why, because what she really needs, if I may say so, is a Jesus man. What I mean is a Jesus man is a man who is understood what Jesus is, meaning he is not a person who loves to be loved back, does not look for love in the world, knowing it's not there. It's not there in your family. It's not there anywhere you look. It doesn't exist. Everybody's suffering in this world. Everybody's making decisions that go to pieces in many different ways until they're willing to blow their brains out. Of myself, I can do nothing. The Father within me, he does it. And then this other one is, which is relevant, is why call me good, he says. Only God is good. He didn't want to be called good. Why don't call me? Why call me good or love? Only God is love. Only, that's where it is. And there's none of that in the world today. Everybody has various versions of just dying. The purpose of life is forever, meaning we do not die. The purpose of life is living forever. That's what it's all about. Not just reproducing ourselves, bringing up kids, the extension of yourselves. And everybody dying, and dying is normal. Dying is abnormal. Death is unnormal. Jesus created it, didn't you understand? It's all about that. The words he uses, you cannot find it anywhere in the Old Testament. You cannot find those wonderful words. And if you add them up, it's probably about 50 of them. That's really good. And if you understand any one of those, of myself I can do nothing. Why am I struggling? The more you struggle, the more you're angry with it, what's wrong with you. It's in you. Take care is in the air. It's not inside you. But the word, as soon as somebody says take care, bang, she goes off and gets worse. And she does not know. She does not see until the moment she opened the door and I said, take care. It was a different voice. That's the difference. Who speaks to you and loves you? But you have to have the love in you from him. You must be the extension of him. I'm a Jewish man, but it's so clear. I haven't turned to Christianity because Christianity is not for me. He is my rabbi, if you want to put it that way. Why not? He's Jewish. And it says salvation is from the Jews. That's neat. Maybe I'm one of them. See? Maybe you'll be one of them. We can all be that, can't we? So I'm not a fear of death. I'm not a fear of anything. You should have seen me. See, the difference between me and most, and my own family, is that I came into the world into a pure atmosphere with a father and a mother who loved the father. That was beautiful. And his love, he didn't say much about anything. I mean, you know, he said, "What's the meaning of life, Dad?" He said, "You will find it for yourself." And he never pressured me to do anything. And he had, in the war, he was in the signal category. He had all these electronic things around, you know, transformers. And he let me play with those things and build things. And just, he never pushed me. He never had to correct me. He never had to correct me. I was just a happy guy.
Can I add
playing
something
with things
that
and
you
discovering
said?
things.
You said something this week, it fits with this, on one of the programs. You used a word that may not be the right word, but I loved what you said. You were intuitioned.
I
love that
emphasize.
word. You emphasized it, and that's what you were. You were intuitioned already.
I had intuition without knowing it.
Yes.
I can remember playing with my cousin Arnold, about 8 years old. He was 1 year old. And he's a rich father, and I have a father that was struggling a bit. He could talk 11 languages and build anything. Anyway, that was the depression. But the thing is, his presence was like a canopy over my house. Just a canopy. And I was free. I built things, made things, had chemistry sets, and blow myself up. I had to go to the hospital. I build things. You know those bagatelles where you pull a
Pinball machine.
pinball machine.
Pinball.
I built one. And the only thing that was wrong with it, I didn't have the colors properly, so I didn't know which was which when I tried to fix it. Yeah. All right, so I have intuition. I do not like school. The school is intuition. If you leave your children alone and just watch them carefully, you will see that they, without pressure, leave them alone, have stuff around like my father had stuff there, and you let me play with the batteries and things like that. Left me alone with chemistry or anything. I made explosives. I can tell you a little story. If you take iodine and another chemical that's in, I can't remember it now, sodium, anyway, I made this dangerous explosive that if a fly landed on it, it would explode. It didn't take that much. I made that. I made it, but it's in my head still, but you don't need to know what it's made of, actually. But you get it in the kitchen. And so the only way it would explode if it was dried, because it was iodine and some other chemical, and you leave it alone and pour off whatever that was on this, whatever we used. I have not remember it now. And let it dry. As long as it's wet, it won't explode. But the minute it's dry, and so I was making little paper pellets to put those the things in, and they were too dry, and iodine was all over my face, and my eyes. I had to go to the hospital, but that didn't bother him a bit. And so anyway, but he let me unfold. And when I went to school, he didn't push. I don't like school. I don't like the teachers. I don't want to learn what they tell me. I don't know if it's true. And if it's true, I want to see for myself. Thank you very much. So everybody here has a problem of being programmed by pressure from parents to teachers, God knows. You have to reset yourself. You need to let it all go. All the pressures. You see, the pressure of your mother, the well-meaning pressure, what the well-meaning is still not well in its meaning. You don't pressure kids. You see what they love and see what he wants and let it play for it till and play with it until he's finished with it. And then there's going to another thing. He sees something else. But this time, you make him do some work. When he gets a little bit old enough to give him some chore to do, and give him a quarter. And with that quarter, he can then another quarter, and he can build it up and buy what he wants. That is the way you deal with the children. And you won't have the problem. There's no pressure because he's unfolding from within. It's called intuition. Who has got this?
I get it. In junior high school, there was a lot of pressure, and I didn't want to go. I actually stayed home for a long period of time because I knew that pressure was going to destroy me. And it turned me into a drug addict, actually, and smoking cigarettes and stuff because the truant officer actually came to my house to put me in school. My mom didn't understand that pressure thing, but
I don't think anybody understands all that. They think that their love is pressure.
And the intellectualism of the world and of the way that they teach you is the intuitive way, as you understand and are showing people by example, is very foreign to so much of the college and school.
Every parent is the extension of their parent. And when you come into the world, you become the extension of their parent.
Yeah, and the intellect becomes the faux, the fake reality.
That's all you got.
Yeah.
That's all you got.
Because when I would start to meditate and, I start to awaken and get the flash of understanding without all the words, then all of us...
Without all the words.
That's right. That is life. That has replaced that intellect. At the beginning, the intellect would jump in there and say, in words, oh, you see this and blah, 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 blah. It's like, it wouldn't leave me alone because you'd get the flash and then the intellect is there trying to steal
soulfulness.
Yeah.
Intuition. The word intuition means the learning comes from realizing, oh, I see that. Oh, I see that. But once you lose it, once you start to get angry with your parent, which is a sin, in the scripture, Jewish scripture, honor your mother and father, that the days may be long the Lord God gives you. What? Then people will say, my father was really wicked. My mother was this or that. Why is that so? That's really ridiculous. No, it's not. Because what you didn't know is your parent didn't understand because he lost it when he came into the world. Right from he mean 6 months old and feel the pressure of life and the cruelty of pressure and not being able to see for yourself produces confusion, anger.
And the anger it was for a lot of my life, that frustration. I can understand what she was saying. The frustration, I was wondering, well, what is this? What is this, that is no longer there, thank God, but what is this frustration? What is this? And I called you about it, and it's an actual energy source. It's like an energy bar for that demon.
It's the story of when I was working, the first time I got to understand what we're talking about is my cousin Arnold. I was about 8 years old, he's 9, and he said something that shocked, and I had a lump in my chest. I said, how can those words, where's the energy? I'm 8 years old. I'm not angry. I've never known what anger is. But it still got in there. And I said, but how is it that it can put a stone in me, like a stone? I looked at it. I let it go. I didn't try to fix it. I didn't try to figure it out. It is what it was. I went on. And that's the way you do it.
Right.
If you have a key to it. So from that point on, no matter what people said or what people did, I just shrugged it off and let it go. But then it became a new way of life, hypnosis. I saw it. And how did Hitler able to do what he did in 14 years, turn everybody into murderers, whole nation? Stress, pressure, cruelty in every form, cruelty in pushing your kids to school, cruelty in pushing them. Dear, would you please go down to the store and get me a bottle of milk? That's the old days, because I use the bottles. But in that voice, the child recognizes it's pressure. You see that?
Yeah.
It's not a request. It's a hidden pressure.
Oh, yeah.
You can't.
There's pressure comes in so many ways.
It's hidden.
Yeah, there's a lot of pressure. This is a little off that, but it's similar. But from the Christian church applies a pressure,
of course,
that Jesus is God, and if you don't accept that, you're.
Jesus says that you should not listen to anybody.
That's right. Call no man father.
Call no man.
But they have become a father in authority, and they've messed it all up.
I know. We're having a good discussion today, are we not? Is anybody in this room feeling some freedom? Which one, Alan? Oh, this gentleman here.
Hi.
Is it the gentleman or lady? I can't see it. You're dressed with short hair.
Hi.
Go ahead.
We came here today, me and my husband.
Can you come here? I'm having a difficult time hearing you, so I can hear your voice better.
I'm very happy to be here. I've watched many programs, and I'm glad I made it myself. I'm here today because I'm consumed by fear.
You what?
Consumed by fear.
Consumed by fear. Yes.
It's been going on for a long time.
How do you deal with that, as if I didn't know?
How do I deal with that?
Yeah.
I try to observe it and let it go, but it's not going anywhere.
Do you get angry with it?
No.
Sure? Are you sure?
No.
Yeah. But you can't fix it, can you?
No.
But, but when you can't fix it, don't you get frustrated?
Yes.
That's the same thing.
Yeah.
That's resentment. Now you got the name of it.
Right.
When it comes, let it go. Just look. Oh, if I resent this, see, you're still resenting the person who caused you this. Who was the person that caused you this? Can you identify them? Your parent, right?
Yeah.
It's always parents.
I suppose, I mean,
But there's no such a thing as a parent that doesn't know he's a parent.
right.
They don't realize that they're the extension of their parents. And they produce children with the identity of their parents, and the next generation suffers again.
Right.
It never stops. And then it looks normal. Then you have others to educate you, which you never really need. You could be a psychiatrist and you could be anything. I know how. I'm way ahead in physics. I know how the universe came into existence. So sweet and simple that what the physicists say is a singularity. What I mean by singularity is let there be light. In other words, it does not exist in this realm. Einstein said everything in the universe is moving. There is no stillness. There's no rest frame. That's the use of the rest frame. The only rest frame that exists is outside the universe. Let there be light. But where that comes from. But here I'm just talking about education. What they knew then, in the beginning there was the void, and darkness is on the face of the deep. That's what you need. Infinite realm of darkness. Cold nothing. That's important because you have to have lots of infiniteness to have anything like a universe. So in the beginning there was a void, nothing. An infinite nothing. And then he had to put an infinite something. That is the beauty. And they call that, I gave it the name just now.
Singularity?
Singularity. Singularity is a name that's physics, but they can't explain it. They don't want you to explain it because it is religious. It's science and religion coming together as one, just with different names. And they're afraid. They're just beginning to say, gravity, beginning to think. I never went to school for science, okay, but I understand it. It's going to school that makes me a scientist, but as a scientist, I would not see God. I would see it as a singularity, just something that you work from, but not where it come from.
How do I put this into my life?
Huh?
How do I put this into my life?
Just realize it. Just realize it. Your mother is in a hypnotic state. Every mother. There's something about a woman. This is a good opportunity to share with you. There's something about a woman that can do no wrong. Adam can only do one wrong. Correct? Let's separate him from God and become subject to the woman. But where is the correction? Where is Eve? She lost, not for her fault, but the man's fault. He got punished by being thrown out of the garden and have a different world life. But the woman has no end to mischievousness, no end to wishfulness. Did I say it right quickly?
Mischievous.
Mischievousness, yeah. Women are dangerous creatures, very dangerous creatures, because they can do as much wrong as they want and not suffer, but cause the other person to suffer, the man.
But I am suffering.
But yes, you're in the suffering now because you're a decent human being, and what you're looking for is God. But it's very difficult for a woman like yourself to find God, because it's man's job to say to Eve, put the fruit down, Eve. There's not the kind of man that exists.
My husband does that all the time.
I know. But see, you're sitting in a chair facing a person who understands that.
Right.
So therefore, I'm a Jesus man.
Right.
I'm not Jesus, but I'm an extension of him. And it's affected me in a very wonderful way. But my wife has not accepted it yet. But I hope in this program she begins to see it. You have intuition too. When he came into the world, there was no father. The father, right?
Right.
It was only the mother.
Right.
And the mother's mischievous.
Right. Very.
She can do what the hell she wants.
Right.
But the trouble is, she's the extension of her mother. And her mother, the great-grandmother. And then the great-great-great-grandma, all the way back to Eve. It's beautiful when you come to think of that. Somehow it's beautiful. No woman is guilty. But she can do anything she wants and she's not guilty. But then then after a while she gets in trouble, because what it is that makes her free to do things that she shouldn't do and play with a man, see, and express her cruelty, which she doesn't, but until she feels uncomfortable. But she wants to search for a meaning.
My mother doesn't feel uncomfortable ever, and she hates God.
I know, she hates God. And so, you see, we're getting nice and clear. It's not your fault to be Eve. And so, some Eves are so wicked, they enjoy playing with men and degrading them and taking their money and their life, etc., etc. You're not that woman. You're the woman that wants the purpose of life. And there's two ways you can find the answer. You can find it for yourself, because you have intuition. I am talking to you. You understand me perfectly, don't you?
Yes.
I can be the father. I can be the father that says,
That's why I'm here.
see, your mother couldn't help herself. And if she could, she wouldn't.
She would.
See the difference? And so that's why you need to let her go. And your father go. They missed it. But you are not going to miss it. You want to find the truth. I am giving you the truth. You're not guilty. Eve wasn't really guilty, but it was the man that's disconnected himself from God by listening to her. I didn't die when I ate the fruit from the tree. When he saw that, he makes a big mistake and makes an excuse. That's what men do all the time. Man born of woman is the extension of the woman, not from God. So you can't possibly have a man unless the man discovers, unless you find a man that suddenly I see. There's only a few of them.
I found him.
There's only
This
a
is
few.
him.
Is he your husband?
Yes.
You like what I'm saying?
And he says those things and has said them all his life.
All you need to do. What is your name?
Shy.
Jack?
Shy.
Shy.
Shy?
Shy, yes.
Yeah. You found something, haven't you? You discovered something. If he has discovered, he has an authority that no other man has. He has authority. I have authority, and you can trust me. But thank God, if he has that same authority coming from the light, a Jesus person. You see what I mean?
But we didn't understand what was going on between us, and I never understood that he had it until I heard you.
Yes, you have the ability to see his goodness.
Only
He is
now.
he's different from all the other men. I am different from all the other men, but my wife still looks at me as the father. She did other things that were wrong.
I still do too, unfortunately.
And
I look at him as the father.
I think that is beautiful, because now you're the extension of him, and he's the extension of God. To put it simple, Jesus says, "Why call me good? There is no one good but God." So he realizes he is not doing all these tricks and curing. It's the extension of love from heaven in him. And so when you believe in him, when you appreciate what he's saying, your soul is smoothed and saved.
But I'm fighting it. I'm fighting him all the time.
But my wife fights all the time too. But the point is, he has something. Listen to him. You want to give him a kiss? You want to say something to your husband?
Yes. That I'm very lucky, and I need to be less feisty.
You can be feisty, of course. Yes. But he loves you. How long have you been married?
20 years. We have 2 kids.
All right.
They're waiting in the hotel.
But see, do you see he's decent?
Yes.
He's not weak.
But I didn't see until you explained it to us, and then we realized what we were missing.
God create man in his image. Then out of the man he created the woman. The order is that way. It must be that way. But he lost his power. He lost the grace that he should have had to put the fruit down. But Eve didn't tempt purposely. She only said innocently, "I ate the apple, but I didn't." What did she say?
I didn't die.
I didn't die. They both died. But the point is, there's some graciousness in this, because at some point they're going to be redeemed. Because if God made millions of them, they'd make the same mistakes. So now man born of woman is upside down.
Right.
Adam is subject to the woman and goes back to the woman for love, because he came from her. In a manner of speaking,
Yeah.
it's animal logic.
Yeah.
That's right. We're not animals.
Can I say one more thing?
Mm-hmm.
Ever since I've discovered this, that I have been going against, reality, and I'm trying to come back. I don't know how to say this. I feel like I have a death wish. I'm making myself very
But
sick.
you are killing yourself.
Yeah. But why is this happening when I realize my mistake?
But you're not God, and you cannot play God. Try to understand. Sin, anger, hate, doing rotten things, not trusting what could be trustable, is death. And then you're in so much control of yourself, you can kill yourself and not let God do it. You're playing God. Of yourself, you can do nothing. The man has a good chance. And if a man like your husband is your lucky woman, you just need to submit. Now, that doesn't mean to say you have to be a slave. He talks to you gently, firm, correct, gently, but you resent it. My wife does the same thing. You're self-destructing.
Mm-hmm.
You're going down. He's going to be fine. He'll live to 100.
Oh, no.
And you'll probably kill yourself, commit suicide. You've thought of it, haven't you? You will, if it goes on. Can I see you kiss your husband?
Seriously?
Yeah, I want to see it. I want to see it. And say you're sorry. Is he sitting with him now? Hold hands. They are. No, she belongs to you. And continue correcting her. She needs it even if she doesn't like it. And if she doesn't like it, don't let it bother you. Bingo.
We got it.
That's what she wants.
Right.
She doesn't want you to fail.
Yeah, you just helped
Part
me.
of her does.
Yeah. You just helped me put it into words, but I told her that all the time, so, yeah.
Ta-da!
Ta-da.
Everything's fine. It goes away now. Okay, does it relieve you, just this little thing? Of course. And how about you?
Right? Not enough days.
Well, it's about time you didn't get resentful towards me. All right. Well, I think we had a nice discussion today. I think this is one of the best ones.
Yep. Good.
Because it gets right to the point. How you doing? All right. You having a little cry? Let's hear from you. You're going to do some work for me, aren't you? Okay. Well, anything you want to say? It's something simple.
That's good.
Something simple. What have you learned? What have you realized? That's the word, realize.
I know I've told you before, Roy, but
What?
I'm always trying. I guess it's like acting God.
No, you cannot try.
I always do it.
Do you understand? You
I
cannot
know.
try. You cannot, you're not God. You cannot fix.
I see that.
You cannot give yourself eternal life.
I see.
But all you give yourself is eternal strife. Trying to fix, to be a good person. You want to be a good person. And you are emboldened by your parents' precious.
Surrounded by so good people, and so I know all the words. It's not in my heart.
But the words have come from a bad place,
Yes.
emotional place.
It changed something.
Look, what you need to do is forgive them, for they know not what they do. Do you know what you're doing? Can you stop being stupid? They couldn't stop being stupid. They gave what was them to you, but you didn't like it. But stop hating it. You cannot like it, but stop resenting it and bringing it up. I was talking about bringing something up. Take care. There it is. That's your take care thing. Let it go. Forgive your father and mother, for they know not what they do. But the word forgive is not good enough, because
Yeah.
only God forgives.
Yes.
Just let it go. Recognize that it couldn't help themselves what they did to you. They didn't even know it while they were screwing your head.
Just like I've done to other people too. I do the same.
Of course. No more. Maybe I can help you now. Take it easy. Don't look for approval. Don't look for approval from Roy. Okay? I will help you. And Wendy, you can keep on helping me too. She could take the heavy stuff. All right? We'll see what we can do now. All right. Well, one more call?
Yeah, one more call.
Come up the front. Would you come up the front so I can hear
Sure.
your voice as well?
Yes,
Yeah.
excuse me.
This has been a very good discussion today.
Okay, so what you had them do, kiss, hold hands, my husband wants that.
No, but this is not sensual.
But I want to comment on what's in my life is that I feel like I can't hardly do that because he wants more of it. You know,
Yes,
if I
I
give
know
him a
what it-
kiss and a
yes.
hug, then it does. And so I feel like I have to be cold toward him because I want to discourage that sensuality.
Yeah, but the word cold
Yes.
is hot and cold, both of us.
Mm-hmm.
Indifferent. Do you remember the story I said when I didn't know what it was, and it took a while before I realized what it was? With that, my cousin Arnold, the knot in myself. What did I do? Intuitively, I let it go. Intuitively. I didn't know that that was the right thing to do, but it was. So I didn't know what right and wrong was. I just saw that it was a rock and saw, but didn't think of it as cruel. I just wondered what it was. But wondering what it was didn't answer my problem. I didn't get upset.
Okay.
I just wondered, how could that, somebody's mouth screaming at me cause that thing to appear? It's emotion.
Mm-hmm.
You see? Now, I didn't know anything about emotions. But all I did, intuitively, to begin the journey of life that's kept me safe. And yes, in all the diseases and suffering I have, I let them fall off me like water off a duck's back. Let it go. I don't know. Let it go. That is humility. That's all there is to it. And ever since that day, I've lived that way. So all the trials and tribulations which I'm about to go through again will be just, okay. Simple. No matter what the punishment is, what the trials and tribulations are, there's nothing you can do, and therefore of yourself you can do nothing. Let it be nothing, because that's He wants you to go through it without resenting it, without trying to figure it all out. Just let it go.
Okay.
If you do that, everything you're looking for will come back, and you'll be happy ever after.
Can I make one more comment about relationships? I see that there's something that men do, because I've seen my husband do it, that they're weak and then they kind of want the woman to be strong, and then they can kind
It
of
is
mock them for being strong and making them more of a bitch
It's
by their weakness.
men born of women. How can I say this? Men are born of woman. In the beginning, it was the other way around. She came out of him. It's backwards right now. So women have the power to be rotten as they want without feeling guilty. Their guilt is a very important thing to have. And the presence of a good man will make her aware of those. You see, I said a little while ago, I want to bring it up again, that Adam was the extension of, he was created, made in his image of God, right? Then he took a piece of the, according to the scripture, took a piece of him, and why not? We can do this with animals too. We can make a duplicate if they want to. Just take a piece of something. And so it's basically makes sense. He took a piece of a man, and from him he made into a woman. So when he failed, when the woman said, "I ate that," but that wasn't temptation. That was just a typical woman, because from behind her there's darkness, from behind the man there's light. So a woman can have as many cruelties as she wants and get away with it.
But in my relationship, I want to be good. I really do.
I know that.
And I'm being encouraged to not
But you do
be
understand that you have the power to do anything you want and not be guilty. But there are lots of women like that take advantage of the weak man and enjoy it and take his money and marry another man and 6 other men and then die because she has mental problems and she doesn't know what she's got anymore. Whatever it is, this punishment. But the point is, she is free. Adam wasn't free. She was free to do all the wicked things that wickedness presented to her. They have, so men, so that when in the scriptures it says, because you have done this thing, you shall become bonded to the woman as one flesh. So men are extension of the women, rather than the women the extension of the man. And the women don't have so much guilt, but they do have guilt, but they have much more freedom from guilt before they ever see any guilt. And the way they see the guilt is how you're seeing it, because the man is not doing his thing. Intuitively, you know, you need a man to say, put the fruit down, with authority. But the men that born of women have no authority. They're subject to the woman. God help you when men look to the woman for love and think of sex as love. It's lust. You can have sex without lust, but men looking for the emptiness of their life when they're born of woman, they haven't got the authority. The authority comes from realizing the suffering with a woman. When you get married, marriage is a wonderful thing, one way or the other, because you start to lose yourself, lose your patience, or start to be an appeaser because she's a bully. And you want something, so you do nice things for her, buy a nice car, fur coat, and get what you want. And all you do is emboldening the woman to be a bully and hate you for it. What she wants you to stop that wasting of her money that he's working and getting. See? So what you need, are you married?
Yeah,
How long have you been married?
40 years.
4 years?
40.
40 years. It's about time you stop hating your husband.
Yeah.
Because he can't help himself. What you want from him, he hasn't got.
No, he doesn't.
But you can't blame him if he hasn't got it. Let him suffer by himself. Don't hate him. He cannot give it to you. He cannot give you what he hasn't got.
Right.
But doesn't mean to say you can't find God on your own. He understands that. And so if I am a different kind of man from your husband, and you can, coming here, trust what I'm saying, do nothing. Of yourself, you can do nothing. You cannot save him. The tendency is to want to try to save him, but you cannot save him. He needs to find salvation himself for you to believe in him. You can't believe in him if he's a weakling or he's a bully. But there's only two kinds. You got one or the other. So what you got is he can't help it. He's lost. You're not lost. You have intuition. In the intuition, recognize your husband that he doesn't understand. Recognize your mother and your father, especially your mother. She know not what she does. It's a shame they die and never go on to eternal life. But you're the extension of her, because if you hate your mother and father, especially if you hate your mother and your father, because you'll hate your mother because your father never corrected your mother.
True. Yeah.
See that? But look, your husband is never going to come. Only if you stop hating him and realizing he know not what he does. That's true. If he doesn't know what he's doing, you have to have compassion for him. A kind of a compassion, not a judgment. Judgment is mine, saith the Lord. I pay back. Drop the judgment. Also drop forgiveness. I had a man who came to me 10 years later from a
Seminar.
A seminar, yeah. And he says, I have something to tell you. I hate you. I have to apologize for that, see. I said, can you forgive me? I said, I never judge you. If you judge, then you have to forgive. And so you're in a mess both ways.
Yeah.
You only have to see the judgment. Oh, it's gone. And that's the emotion. Let it go. Whatever he does, forgive him for he knows it. The word forgive is not the right term, but let me use it. Let him go. Forgiveness and judgment are for God. Jesus was taunted for forgiving people, but he could. That was the purpose. I can forgive you, but I'm not forgiving you if I'm coming from him. It's him that's forgiving you through me. Not the same, is it? Not a person doing it. It's still light. Getting it?
Yeah, that helps. Thank you.
That's good. Does it give you a little relief?
Yeah, I felt like I haven't been able to stop the resentment, and
But-
because I can't stop
Well,
the
you
way
know, the
he
resentment
is.
is the power to fix yourself. The frustration for not being able to fix yourself, trying again and again.
Okay.
See?
Yeah, so when situations come up and I feel resentful, I can't stop it, but I can watch it. Is that
What you
on the right
need
track?
to do is, when you go out into the world, look, if you're sitting by yourself, you can actually bring up the memory and start to resent the memory.
Yeah, true.
Because it distracts you from feeling guilty. Say for a moment, it distracts you from feeling guilty, but then you get anxiety after that. You cannot save yourself. Not possible. And if you realize it, There's a chance for you just to let it go. Like me, when I was a little kid, 8 years old. Oh, that's interesting. It hurt. It went away. And since that day to this one, I have let things go. I said, well, what can you do? Nothing.
Right.
Of myself, I can do nothing. I can't produce a future. I don't know what that means. The future comes from letting things go so that you're not in lost favor of your Creator. You let Him in. You stop trying to fix yourself. You cannot. And if something tells you that it does, it's a dark side. It talks to you that way. See that? Mm-hmm. You got to do it right. Mm-hmm. You do not know what right is. You do not know what kindness is. You do not know what love is. It's a gift. Drop all of that. Your husband cannot help himself. Your mother cannot help herself. Your father could not help himself. They're entangled with each other to death. Mm-hmm. In my house, we got problems, just like anybody else. The difference is I hold my ground for 64 years. And the more I dealt with it properly, I can raise my voice. I can be very strong, but not wrong strong. My wife can listen to me if she wants to, if she doesn't want to, and starts to talk back to me. I can still be strong, but not be wrong. There's a good strength and a bad strength. You don't want to get them mixed up. Otherwise, if you don't have that, you're a pussycat. See, you have to have some kind of strength, some kind of way of expressing yourself, but it has to be godlike. And in that godlikeness, you become strong. There's a saying, everything bad happens for good. You see, because you wouldn't want to come into the world where everything's perfect.
I would.
Yeah. No, actually, it wouldn't be good for you. What you need is to struggle. What you need is to experience pains and cruelties pushed against you. That is good, as long as you don't hate it and realize that hating is the extension. In other words, you're ignorant you're not ignorant when you come into the world, because you come into the world with intuition. But as a child, you lose it. It's still inside you somewhere. And I'm trying to get you to see it's in somewhere. You had it. You knew your parents were no good, and you saw it. And they saw that you saw it. And they hated you for it because you made them feel bad about themselves. My job is to make my wife sad about herself. I never stop. Now, it looks like a nag. I'm not a nag. I've just to keep doing over and over and over and over again. If you put a gun to my face, I would not move. If you give me a 250-pound guy, I don't move. That's the way it's been. Always won. Because I didn't resent it. I didn't feel any emotion. And there was the power that doesn't look like power at all. It isn't a power from me. It's a power through me. And so what is coming through me affects everybody else differently. They either suffer and die, or suffer and say, well, I see what Roy said. Why am I angry with him? Anybody understood that? in the beginning, you get it. You think I'm a bit crazy guy. I'm not. And you begin to, and then you listen to my program, and then all of a sudden you see there I am again. And then you're resenting me. All of a sudden that resentment says, why am I resenting me? He's saying the truth. You get a glimpse of the truth that way. I won't stop. I could keep going on, which I'm resentive. Not the word resent, extension of a creator. We all need to be extensions of the creator, so nothing you do in your life, you did. It was done through you. And if you want to turn it around, then you can say the same thing to evil. There's nothing. What darkness is in you is the extension of that. And it's normal for you until you see that it's not normal. Because one's light and one's dark. So you're given into the world, and the world gets inside you. And so it should. Basically, where I had no problem, you may have problem. But every now and then, you have an Abraham, you have Moses, you have people, just a few, that make a difference to millions of people. And the story of the Bible is that way, isn't it? What you need to find is the most simplest thing in the world. Of myself, I can do nothing. The Father within me, He doth it through me. I add that word to it. He doth it. Even Jesus himself did not claim that he healed the sick and did all that magic. He understood that. I have been graced with that and have grown from it. And lots of people hate me, but people in my own family hate me. They take on the nature of their mother, not me. In my own family, there's resentment. I understand all that. That's my trial and tribulation. It was good for me to be married. It was good for me to be patient, and never run, never fight, never become broken, never resentful. And even though they may think I'm resentful, I'm not. Trials and tribulations make you strong. Everything bad, the bad brings out the good. You become strong. You realize that the person that is hurting you doesn't see, your parent doesn't see it. But as a little child, you see it. As a little child, you react, and then you lost your faith, and you have doubt. And then you live the extension of your family, trying not to be that way, but you don't know how to do that. Now I'm telling you, the scriptures are beautiful if you know where to pick the apple off the tree in a proper way. See, that's what I'm saying. You see it. Of yourself, you can do nothing. Do you not know you're the image of the living God and the Spirit dwells within you? That's what you listen to. That's all. It's in all of you. But the trouble is, have it. And I was born, as I said in the early part of the program, I was born with a father. So when he died, I think he died from gas from the First World War. Because I see something in his eyes that he never spoke about whatever happened, how he became a British subject. But he had something about him that he didn't say a whole lot, but he watched me and said, "Dad, can I play with that?" "Yeah." "Just do what you want with it." Bingo. I unfolded like a flower. Physics, just everything. I could not go to school. I saw dead people walking around, the living dead. I'm not going to take anything and remember it just because they said so. From a little boy. I just didn't resent it. I just rejected it. So I was fourth in the class. There's only 4 in the class. All right. I'm an individual. I'm not an individual. And so therefore there's innocence there that my own family can hate because they're taking it from their mother. When mother gets better, the kids see clearer. See how that is? That's how magical it is. I stay there to make sure that the sweetness in her sprouts. Isn't that right, Anne? That's what I try to do.
You take the words right out of my mouth.
That's it. I hope it makes some changes. That's good.
Roy, what about the meditation for women, do you think? I feel like I'm not getting the results that I hope when I meditate.
No, you must not hope for anything. All you need to do is be still. The secret of life lies in the words, be still and know I am God. Now, what we have discussed before, I don't think we have enough time now because we're having a very good discussion here and we can repeat it later on. But Jesus only spoke some very special words. He put words, letters together, so to speak, that is never seen before. It's absolutely original, and you can see it. And to understand any one of them, especially be still, but it's very difficult to understand what it means. What does be still mean? We'll talk about that next week, okay? Because it means we're another 2 hours. Well, thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
And ladies and gentlemen, juveniles and crocodiles, I thank you very much for the generosity that seems to be pouring in for the foundation. And the beautiful part of it is I don't ask for it. Every now and then I give it a little nudge. But I don't push, pressure. Graciousness is magic. It comes from their hearts.